Hey, and we're live. Woohoo! If you're watching the recording of this, I'm gonna talk to the people watching this in the future, if you're watching the recording, hello, welcome to the recording. For everybody that's watching it live, welcome to the live stream. For those that don't know me, let me introduce myself. I'm Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV, where you're watching this. I'm a photographer, a photographic educator, and a live streamer that's gonna get wet. Again, on another live stream. Yes, we're on location. Now, speaking of location, if you can see and hear me, let me know. Where are you watching from? I mean, we know Seth's stuck in traffic. That's one thing we know for sure. So Fernando is backstage doing the buttons. Thank you, Fernando. You can see and hear me, that's great. But where are you? Where are you watching from? Always fascinated to know. Oh, and my mic's a little loud. Okay.
No, it keeps cutting out.
Keeps cutting out. Oh, okay. Don't tell me my mic's... Is my mic still cutting out? Okay. Yay, we love live streams. Okay, we'll see how it goes. I've got a spare... Well, we are literally on location today, so... Everything's good? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Marv?
Yeah, when you're moving around.
Oh, don't move around. Hang on. That's...
Perfectly still.
Yes. Let's just make sure that's wound in properly. I might just swap to the spare microphone. Whilst I'm doing that, where are people from? Have we got any comments?
I will have a look. Hi everybody, it's Sam here, and I'm just looking at where everyone is. It's amazing. So we've got Bushy Park. Hi Alan. Alan joins us for every live stream. We've got Michigan, Virginia, Kent, not that far down the road from us, Quebec. We've got California, Germany, Toronto, Arizona, Mexico, oh, St. Lucia, oh, amazing, Venice, Scotland. What's the weather like in Scotland? We've got India, Poland, absolutely amazing. So how's everybody's day gone so far? Hope it's good. Gavin's having a stress. He's denying it. But hopefully he'll be back with us in just a second. Oh, there's a few more. Dominican Republic, Dubai, Brooklyn.
How's that? Can you hear me now? Looking at the sound people, yes? Oh, I'm getting nods. Okay, that's fine. Hours of practice, and the minute you hit go live, that's what happens. So what's happening today? We are going to be live on location. We are going to be right here, and this is actually, weirdly, the location isn't that far from where we live, because it's just over there. We're in our garden. This is a caravan that came with the house when we bought it. Yeah, I've always thought the best thing to do with this caravan is burn it down. So Sam had other ideas, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take some photos here on location, because this is off-grid photography. That's the plan. Everything is off-grid, even though we are just a few meters from our house. So I'm not here on my own. Obviously, we've got Sam on the super switcher, Freya on the audio, doing a good job, but also we've got the awesome Chloe. Chloe, come on in, save the day, come on. In you come. Here she comes.
Hello, hello.
There she is. So Chloe is going to be the model for this shoot. You may have seen Chloe in previous Adorama videos. Fantastic model, thank you for joining us.
And our first live as well.
And she did do our first live. What happened on the first live? The audio went amiss. Is anyone getting a sort of deja vu? All right, okay. However, this is live, so if you've got any questions, stick them in the comments. Sam is there, she will fire the relevant questions to me, so feel free to stick them in the comments. So, what am I going to be doing? Well, off-grid photography, off-camera photography, basically means anything that I can drag in my little cart here. So this is my off-grid cart. By off-grid, I mean no mains electricity. That's kind of the idea. So what we're going to do is lots of photographs that use anything that isn't mains powered lights. So battery powered flashes and, well, I was going to say the sun. Yeah, this is as good as it gets. It's been mixed weather. So this is my little bag of bits and pieces. I'm going to run through some of this as we go along, but the first thing I'm going to do is use the ambient light, because if you're photographing off-grid, the easiest light is the light that you just have. Today is beautiful soft lighting. Do you notice my optimism on that spin? Beautiful, soft, cloudy, slightly drizzly lighting. Yeah. So let me just switch over my computer so you'll be able to see some photos as we jog along. Okay. Marvelous. Okay, so I'm going to make the most of that. If you are really going to be off-grid, the easiest way to do it is just to use the daylight. There's a question already. Go on.
So this is from Adorama saying, how do you manage to always be amazing?
I think they misspelt amazing. It's definitely a typo, that. Insert other word here, but thank you, Adorama, I appreciate that. Okay, so what am I going to be doing? So I'm using my Olympus camera. I should come close so you can actually see the cameras. Here we go. This is the camera I'm using, my Olympus camera. I've got a bunch of different lenses that I'm going to be using, and I have a transmitter which, yeah, it's held together with tape at the moment. Don't ask, long story. So let's see what we get. Chloe, are you right up there? I should say, if you've got any questions for Chloe as we go along as well, I've got a microphone for her. She doesn't know that, but she can actually answer some questions. You did well last time. Okay, so if I'm using natural light, my go-to setting is going to be Aperture Priority mode. Which camera am I on now? I've lost track of my cameras. That one, close-up camera, hello. Aperture Priority is my go-to setting for just natural light photography. This is a 1.2 lens. I'm going to go 1.2 because it's really dark. Okay, Chloe, let's just see what we get. Let's get something in the bag and see how we can make this a little better. You see, the thing of working with Chloe is even if it's overcast, a little bit drizzly, flat lighting, Chloe just looks amazing. So thanks for coming, everybody. I think we can probably stop there. That's we got a picture on the screen. I'm happy. Let's make this better. Let's make it better. How am I going to make it better? Well, off-grid, normally I wouldn't bring a ladder. But yeah, but you find it's surprising when you go on a shoot what you can actually find to use. You kind of make the most of all sorts of bits and pieces. And we found this ladder in my shed. That's better. Yeah, here we go. I suddenly feel at the right height. So before I was shooting down on, shooting up onto Chloe, and now I'm slightly down onto Chloe, which is perhaps a better angle to be photographing. I've also come a little bit closer to the side. Okay, let's just snap away. I'm going to move even closer to the side. Here we go. I'm going to go vertical, which never really works on a live, but I have to remember to do verticals, particularly if you're doing social media. I'm trying to teach myself to remember to do verticals as I go along. It's getting hard. I've spent my entire life doing landscape formats, and now I'm trying to remember more vertical shots. Chloe, you're doing awesome. And the lovely thing about this sort of work is I don't have to do anything. I just have to take photos of Chloe. I don't have to worry about the light. This is brilliant for working. Chloe, do you want to lean out the window a little bit more? Absolutely. I mean, it's not the world's strongest door. Let's see if it falls in. Oh no, it's fine. I like the way he said absolutely. It's like, yeah. There's a little robin. Oh, don't think anyone will be able to see the little robin. Is there any chance we can get it to feed out of your hand?
Yeah, I'll try. Oh no. Scare it away.
Okay. So my focal length, if you're interested, is a 45mm f1.2. I'm shooting Aperture Priority, straight out of camera, auto white balance, auto everything. I think I'm on exposure compensation of -0.3. That was unintentional. There's a question. Yes.
We've had a few people ask if you can use your light meter outside.
That's a really good question. So somewhere in my box, I actually no idea where I put it, is my light meter, my flash meter. Yeah, I wonder where it is. That's a good question. Hold that thought.
And also, a few people have said, are there any critters in the caravan? So we did, we did check before and we swept away because there was a lot of cobwebs and things. So yeah, it's as clean as we could get it for the occasion without losing its
Freddie,
charm.
can you switch to the main camera? I suddenly realised I put that camera so far away, I can't actually get there. Okay, so if I'm using my flash meter, which is always to hand, there are a few different settings. So you can see it's on the little lightning bolt at the moment. Let me just find the mode button. But if I press the mode button, I can bring it across to here, which will allow me to do ambient light. So I can put incident light meter readings in using the Sekonic flash meter. It's that one, if you want to know which one it is. So yes, it can indeed do incident light meter. But to be honest, I tend to trust the cameras nowadays for that sort of work. Okay, so that's kind of nice. I like that. That worked out quite nicely. But of course, I like to do flash. So let's do something with flash. Let's grab a flash, which it was raining just before we went live, so all of my stuff has been hidden. There we go. And moved. So, down here in my little bin, you've got a movable camera somewhere, Freya, haven't you? Yeah. Hang on a minute. Oh, I can see a camera moving. She'll swap in a minute. Wait for it, wait for it. Ta-da! Look at, oh, the technology I've given to Freya. Marvellous. So this is my little wheelie trolley. It folds up completely flat, which is really useful for traveling. And in here, basically, if it'll fit in here, this is my off-grid kit. So I normally bring a small softbox or two. So this is my kind of go-to little travel softbox. It's absolutely tiny. It's fallen over more than once, and it's a bit patched up, but that, I can't remember the size. I think it's only about 24 inches. It's really small. It's a great little travel softbox. I also have a slightly larger version, which is the one you see in the Adorama TV videos that I normally do in the studio, which is this one right here. Okay, so we have a larger version, which is about 70 centimeters or some inches. There you go. So those are my two sort of soft boxes for traveling. Also in here, I always have some reflectors and a diffuser. I'm not going to need them today, so there's not really much point getting them out. But these are the Manfrotto Halo Compact Plus diffuser and reflector. But for those to work, you need direct sunlight. And we've got the biggest diffuser that I know. It's called the UK Sky. Okay, I have sandbags, absolutely essential. I'm surprised it's not blowing a gale. We have protective bags for the kit because it's the UK and it's going to rain. And then of course I have my little bag, and normally I bring the Flashpoint Xplor400 because I also cut a little slot out for the 200 to fit. So I can fit an eVOLV 200 and an Xplor400 in the same little carry bag. So that's kind of my kit for those that want to know. Let's stick the small softbox on here. Okay, if you're just joining us, welcome along to the live stream. You're watching Adorama TV live. If you're watching the recording, welcome to the recording. Although this is live, and so that means you can ask us any questions. Go on, Sam.
Okay, so what software is being used to live monitor via tethering? That's Slam Bradley.
Oh yes, Slam Bradley, great name. So I guess you mean for my Freya, do you want to put my laptop on? Okay, I guess you mean this. So how am I able to sort of review as I shoot? So I'm using a combination of Olympus capture software, which is tethered directly. Hello, I mean, I'm here somewhere. There we go. Tethered directly to my camera, and Olympus workspace that allows me to display my images full screen. Okay. If you mean tethering as far as how are we live streaming this, it's a touch more complicated. Okay, let's put that there. Good question. Right, okay, so where are we? So I've put a flash up. Can anyone see any problems with that flash position? What do you think? I mean, that's what happens, isn't it? You grab a flash, you put it up, and you think, yep, job done. Yeah, okay. I'm going to preempt the problems because I've put it for my height. Chloe's already taller than me. Plus you're on a big step. Hey, there we go. Should be better, yes? Okay, so light is now going to come down onto Chloe rather than going up onto Chloe, which is never a good look. So flash on location, flash outside specifically. I tend to treat it a bit differently to flash in the studio. The first thing I'm going to do is switch to manual mode. So we're in Aperture Priority mode for the ambient light shots. Now I want to be in manual mode. Next, I'm going to choose some basic settings. So, I don't know, let's go for something like f2.8. And let's go for my flash sync speed, 250th of a second, my native ISO 200. Okay, so that's the settings. Let's see what we get without any flash firing at all. Okay, and what I'm getting without any flash firing is basically the correct exposure. So that's not going to work. I mean, it'll work, but if I add flash to that, it's only going to get brighter. So because flash is always going to make your picture brighter, you have to start with your picture a little darker. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so let's change our... Well, there's a few things we could change. I'm going to change my aperture. Get my teeth in. Change my aperture. Here we go. F5.6 knocks it down 2 stops. That's better. Okay. And then I can get my flash, and I could use my flash meter. We'll do trial and error because not everybody has a flash meter. Let's try the flash at 1/4 power. Let's make sure it's on. Do you know what I forgot to do? Do you know what I forgot to do? Honestly. Every time. Every single time. Would it be possible, Flashpoint, if you're watching, a remote on and off switch or an on and off switch at the bottom? Oh dear, right, okay. So let's try that again, 1/4 power. And we'll just see what we get. Okay, 1/4 power is going to be way too bright, which is good news. Let's bring it down. How many stops too bright? I reckon that's at least 3. So 1/4 power to 1/8 power, that's 1 stop. 1/8 power to 1/16 power, that's 2 stops. 1/16 power, 1/32 power, 3 stops less light. Okay, here we go. That's better. There's a question, go for it, Sam.
So James asked, are you trying to balance flash with the ambient light, or you completely replace the ambient with your light?
James, good question, and the answer is yes. How did that help? Somewhere in the middle, actually, in this case. I'm not trying to completely remove the ambient light. I don't mind a little bit of ambient. It's giving a bit of fill on the shadow side. So I'm just trying to get it somewhere in between. We will get to the other way, which is trying to balance it as we go through this little live stream.
A few people have asked what time it is as well in the UK. So it's 7:20 in the evening, just so you know. And it's been this sort of blanket white grey all day.
Okay. We did have a bit of sun. There was a few minutes where it was beautifully sunny. Okay, that's pretty good. That feels about the right exposure. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. That feels quite nice. I'm going to try, having set all that up, I'm going to try a different angle, see where we go. Let's come over here. Okay, so with the light slightly coming from behind Chloe, which is quite nice. I'm going to come down a little bit lower. Let's see if we can include a little bit of foreground. Okay, so by dropping myself down a little lower, I probably dropped out a shot. Oh, I think I'm just in it. That's okay, but I'm back to looking up at Chloe again. I'm not so happy with that. Chloe, do you want to just open the door and sit on the step for me?
Absolutely.
Here she comes. Lovely. So I'm going to get Chloe to come down to my height because I can't keep climbing up to her height. And I've done that on purpose because now I can actually bring in some of the foreground here. Defocus those little bits of, well, what are they? Cow parsley? Cow parsley. Okay. Which is nice. Okay, let's see how we go. Okay, so I'm just trying to find some little spots through here. Going vertical. Oh, you're rocking it, Chloe. Really good. Try not to get my light. Oh, or too much of the grass in front of Chloe. Oh, there we go. I think I've got a spot. How's that? Let's just have a look. There you go. Managed to get her head right inside. That's kind of nice. Just to give you an idea, that's what it was like with flash. Let me go back to no flash, back to ambient only light. I'm going to go wide open f1.2 on this particular lens. And let's just make sure we've reset everything correctly. There we go. So no flash this time. And we'll try and find the same spots. There are no rights or wrongs in photography, but these actually work really well. At the moment, the lighting is incredibly soft. I mean, if I was trying to recreate this with flash, I probably couldn't. Not without an awful lot of kit. Do you have a preference? If you do, let me know in the comments. I think I might know what the answer to this one might be. How's that looking? Is it in focus? Is it in focus? Yeah. So my shutter speed is approximately 640th of a second, f1.2, ISO 200, native ISO for Olympus cameras. So, in fact, my shutter speed is now increased to 1600. It's got slightly brighter. Blimey. Let's keep coming around.
A few answers to your question.
Oh, yeah.
Flash or no flash. We've had no flash is better. We've got natural light looks better.
Interesting.
Almost better without flash. Look at that smile, fantastic. I think that's you, Chloe.
Thank you.
Is it not me? Oh, you can't really see me. That's good.
No flash is actually better. I've looked at flash. Yeah.
It's a good job we didn't see that, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. If there's something to trip over, I will find it. Okay, last couple of shots here, and then we'll move on. So, but that's the lovely thing about flash is you can mix it up as. Oh, yeah. Thank you. There we are. You can mix it up as you go along. So if you want to change from flash to no flash, it's pretty easy to do. But if you haven't got flash with you, you can't then add it in. You're limited to what you've got. So, you know, there are no rights and there are no wrongs in photography. That's kind of the beauty of it. So let's just finish off with a couple of flash shots. Again, we'll just work out the ambient exposure. Okay, so let's try. It was about f5.6, wasn't it? Yep.
We've had some questions about what lens you're using.
Okay.
And also the settings that you're shooting at, please.
Okie dokie. So much. Oh, you'd like me to answer that, wouldn't you?
Preferably.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm too busy concentrating on Chloe. So I am using the Olympus 45mm f1.2. So if you're a full frame user, I'll say that slowly, full frame user, that is the equivalent of a 90mm. Oh, I'm not, I'm on the 25mm, I've just noticed. I'm on the 25mm f1.2. So that's the equivalent of a 50mm f1.2 on a full frame. And what was the other question? My settings?
Yes, please.
ISO 200, 250th of a second, f5.6. Okay, just lean out the door for me, Chloe. There she goes.
A few people said it would be nice to have the caravan lit behind Chloe.
Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it?
Another day, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I tell you what, we went through this a couple of hours ago before this weather kicked in. It didn't need it. Now, it probably does, but we've got some other things we want to get through. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so that worked quite well. I enjoyed that. Does anyone feel like rain? Does it? That's good, because we're going to get you outside. Come on, Chloe. I thought we'd do that because I thought it was going to rain or keep raining. No, we're going to move you around a little bit. So we're going to move around the garden slightly. I'm going to move the cameras around. How are we going to do this? I'll move this camera and we'll see what's going on. There we go. That's one camera. I'm going to switch to the main camera. Yeah, there we are. And then this one I'll move around as well. Chloe, do you want to go and have a seat in the wonderful cart? Marvellous. And we'll move that one. There we go. Fantastic. There was a question when we were setting everything up, how are we going to cope if I move around the garden? The answer was just turn the cameras. It's mind-blowing, but it works. It's so simple. Okay, so Chloe is sat down on a real vintage cart. That is, well, it's older than you. It's older than me, I suspect. So we borrowed this from Steve, our builder friend, and I cleaned it up just for you. And Sam has styled it for you. Okay, so let's do what we did before. Let's grab a lens, let's just use the ambient light, let's just take some photos, see what happens. Okay, righty-ho. So let's go back. Ambient light, aperture priority mode, wide open, maximize my shutter speed. f1.2, still using the 25mm lens, I got it this time. Okie dokie. And we'll just see what we get. Oh, I'll turn the flash off, I just remembered. Okay, hang on. Test shot first of all. Let's see what's going on, does it work? Yeah, that looks okay. That looks pretty good. Let's just check focus on Chloe. Yep, that looks not bad at all. Okay, so we've got nice separation, we've got a little bit of depth of field. You can barely see the rubbish tip behind Chloe there, which is lovely and blurry and out of focus. I think I'll drop myself a little lower just to deal with that. Here we go. I'm going to move a bit closer. If I move a bit closer, I'm going to change a couple of things. I'm going to change the framing, fairly obviously, but also I'm going to change the depth of field, because the closer you get to your subject, the shallower the depth of field becomes. So if I come a little bit closer and I switch to a vertical format, and I get one in focus, that's really good. Okay, I am going to be literally at the end of my tether. Okay, awesome. So these are really nice. So that gives me a much shallower depth of field. And the lighting is really good. Thank you very much. Really soft, really gentle, very pleasant. Looks absolutely lovely. We're almost shooting into the light here, so we're actually getting a little bit blown out highlights in the back, but there's still detail there. The lighting is that flat. Incredible, really. And they're sharp, but they're not, I know I can get them sharper. They also lack a little bit of a catch light. There's a tiny catch light, but there's not a massive catch light going on there. So we're going to try and just, oh, there's one, there we go, we've got a catch light in that one. I'm going to see if I can just sort of balance up the effect a bit with balancing flash and daylight together. That's kind of the idea. Right, okay, do you want to, that's it. So let's bring a flash in. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. The flash, if you're just joining me, I'm using the Flashpoint Xplor400. It's a really small, lightweight, powerful little flash. Really good if you're going off-grid. It's battery powered, so there's no mains power coming in here at all. And even though we gave it a run through earlier on, I don't seem to have used any battery power at all. So that's fantastic. It's still on full power. I said I'd go and charge the battery, didn't I? And I totally didn't. So, what can possibly go wrong? So let's see, where are we? So I want to try and balance some of this ambient light. So the first thing to do is control the light. So if I'm trying to control the light, I need to switch to manual mode. Manual mode means that my settings are always going to be the same. aperture priority mode, you can get a swing in your exposure. That's not what I want to do because I'm mixing two types of light together. I want to be in manual mode. So manual mode it is. And well, let's see, 250th of a second is my flash sync speed. I'd like to stay wide open at 1.2. That's my sort of goal. And if I'm at that setting, let's see what we get. No flash. So if I stay at f1.2, 250th of a second, ISO 200, I'm actually getting a shot that's overexposed. What can I do? How can I fix this? Because I can't, well, I can change my aperture. That would make the picture darker. But if I do that, I lose the shallow depth of field. I could drop my ISO down. Actually, I could drop my ISO down. That's not a problem at all. I could increase my shutter speed, but I'm at my flash sync speed. So what would you do? What would be your solution? Let's find out, see if anyone's got an opinion. I'm going to fix it my way. Here we go, Chloe. I'm just going to take another shot, see what we get.
So Matt says high speed sync.
One more.
Powell says ND filter. Faces photography says ND filter. Ugg bad boy, high speed sync. Andy, lower ISO. Noises, eddy filter. Joe, eddy filter. Antonio, high speed sync. Loads of people.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah. And do you know what? Everybody's right. Congratulations, you are all right. Unless you said aperture, which was the one thing I didn't want to change. But you can change any of the other things and make it work. You can put an ND filter on here and make it work. There isn't a right or a wrong. There's what you are comfortable doing and what you are not comfortable doing. So don't let anyone tell you you have to do something. It's fine. Okay, so well, let me just take the shot, pop it on the screen. Here we go, Chloe. The other option is wait for it to get darker. I mean, I'm happy. We could just sit around here for an hour.
Actually, someone did suggest that.
That would work. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. English golfer, wait till the sun sets. And someone else said, I can't pronounce. Is that key? Just take that picture in 30 minutes. Genius.
Yeah. They are both right, because that would work. The light is actually changing quite rapidly at the moment. I'm having a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. So that was at 2,000th of a second. That's at 1250th of a second. That feels about right. That's probably where I want to be. It's really hard to judge. Certainly looking at the screen, I'm looking at my confidence monitor. My camera says that's a bit dark. Okay. I'm gonna go with my camera. So let's just drop that down. So I'm looking for a picture where I can see effectively an underexposed picture, where it looks just a little bit wrong, just slightly dark. And I think we're there. Let's go with that one. So that ended up being, I lost track of what that was. I think it was about 1,000th of a second. Let me bring it up on my settings. Of course, it won't tell me on my camera right now, but I believe that was 1,000th of a second. Oh, 800th of a second. Okay, 800th of a second. Flash is turned on. High-speed sync is really easy to set, so let me come and show you. Hang on. Which camera am I on? I'm on that one. Okay, cool. Okay, get my face out of the shot. How's that? No? I've suddenly realised. Can we put it on this camera? Right, there you go. I can see the monitor then. There you go. So high speed sync is a little button that says sync. The screen, of course, isn't going to work and play ball. There's a little button here that says sync. And if you can look at the top of my screen on my transmitter, when I press it, a little H with a lightning bolt appears. That's high speed sync off. That's high speed sync on. It's that easy. If I have it set to off, then I can't go past my flash sync speed limit of 250th of a second. It'll actually force my camera to max at that. If I turn it on, I can use my full shutter speed range. Very clever. Right. How are we doing? We're good? Okay, now all I need to do is work out the exposure for the flash. So let's try 1/16, middle of the power range. Little test shot, Chloe, see what we get. Okay, 1/16 looks a little bit on the flashy side. Wow. I can feel the rain coming in. Okay.
You can hear the shushy noise.
Yeah.
It's the wind.
Yes, unfortunately we lost my wind-covered microphone because it packed up right at the start. I'll try and keep my back to the wind. Okay, there we go. That looks a lot better. That feels a lot less flashy. And I'm happy with that. Okay, we can probably just tweak it a little bit as it's getting darker and darker. So I'm just going to snap away. Okay. Let's drop it down. The light is changing rapidly as the weather is getting worse. I've already dropped my shutter speed down to 500th of a second. As I'm watching the light level drop like a stone. Coming closer. Don't get lead feet. Move around. Change your position. In fact, change your lens. I've been with this lens the whole blooming time. Let's get a different lens. Somewhere I've got more than one lens. Let's see what we've got. Here we go. Different lens. Which camera am I on? That one. Okay, so let's switch out to that way around. The 45mm f1.2. Let's do that. Okay. So 45mm means that I have a little more of a shallow depth of field look. And once I've done that, it's got brighter. Light levels drop back up again.
I've got a question for you.
Far away.
Okay, so Nick asked, could a reflector work in these conditions when outside with a speed light?
That's such a good question. With a speed light, I suppose you could sort of bounce light into the reflector if that's kind of what you had in mind. If you're just using a reflector, you have to have a good light to bounce in. Again? I'll come closer. How's that? Can you? Just don't move. Okay. If you're going to use the reflector on its own, you've got to have good light. Sunlight, you need to be able to bounce sunlight in. So we will put the subject in the shade, stand the person with the reflector in the sun, and then sort of push light in that way. So that's kind of how you need to do it with a reflector. If you're going to use a diffuser, then it's the other way around. You put your subject in the sun and you put the diffuser between you and the sunlight. If you're using a speed light, I guess you could bounce the light into the reflector or through the diffuser. On light like this today, yeah, you could definitely do this with a speed light. If it was sunny, no, you'd probably struggle. Okay. I'll try not to move too much. Are we good? Okay, we're good. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. The other way is to push the limits of the flash completely in the opposite direction. So now I've been trying to balance the ambient light. Yeah, just jump over to my my laptop a second. Okay, I've been trying to balance the ambient and the flash. Can you see the difference in the well, the sharpness? Hopefully you can. The eyes have the catch light in them. And there's a lot more sort of soft, flattering, possibly light in there. That kind of looks really nice. So that feels like a more controlled shot where the ambient light was fine. It was just a little flat. However, if I try and get the sky in the shot, let's see what we get. Okay, suddenly I realize I got the wrong lens, but I will do it anyway. Here we go. Okay, so the sky on this shot is, well, there, but you know, you'd be forgiven for thinking that that's just a white block of nothingness. Now, it's not necessarily the look that's going to work with Chloe, but let me show you how we can take this same lighting setup and really make it dramatic. Sorry, I've realized I'm not in the shot. Chloe's in the shot. Let's face it, no one wants to see me. Chloe is the star of the show. Okay, so what we're going to do, Chloe, is change a few settings. I'm going to turn the flash off. I'm going to take my settings. Here we go. And let's just see what we can get. Okay. Here we go. So have a little look at this. So this is a shot without flash, and what we can see now is detail in the sky. There is, well, trust me, it's there. There is a little bit more grey going on rather than just that sort of blank grey. There's light bits and dark bits, and if we had a wider lens, which I will swap to, we can actually see a bit more sky. I'm going to switch out to the other lens. Here we go.
Alan has said Chloe is the star of the show.
Alan is right. Just grabbing another lens. Switch over to a different angle, Fraser, so the thing we've just disappeared. There you go. Oh, hey, that's good. There we go. You can see my little tether table. All my bits and pieces on the table here, that's right. So I'm going to switch over to a wider angle lens, the 12 to 40mm lens.
So I have another question.
Far away.
Do you set the white balance to auto or choose a specific one such as cloudy? This is Nick.
Hi Nick, that is a really good question. Let me set this up and I will circle back round to that question, Nick. Hang on in there. Okay, here we go. So I've switched to the 12 to 40mm lens just so we can see a bit more sky, okay? There you go, fantastic. So we can see a sky, but we can't really see any Chloe. So that's where the flash comes in. So I'm set to f11, 250th of a second, ISO 200. We're gonna need an awful lot more light out of this flash. Here we go. We've literally made it the middle of the night. Okay, that's probably more realistic to how it actually looks. Forget what the video says. That's kind of getting closer to where we are. Okay, so we can literally change day to night. Not saying that's what I want to do here. What I'm saying is that's what you can do if you want to. That's the power of Flash. Flash gives you that option. Remember, we're not using any battery, any mains power, everything is battery powered here. Could you do that with a speed light? Someone's going to ask. Yes, but it would be a challenge. We've done it, but it is not easy. It depends on the lighting on the day. So yeah, probably not. Okay, any more questions? Because we're going to move on to the last setup. Oh, the white balance. Okay. A couple of things I'm going to do. Let me just see if I can help with the noise, because I know it's getting a bit windy.
It's fine.
Is it? Are we okay? Okay, if it gets bad, then I'll stick the little fluffy on. White balance. I wasn't coming over here just to grab my other microphone. I come to grab this. So this is the Color Checker Passport. They're not an essential item, but they are really useful when color is critical. If color is critical, this is the bit you use. If color is important, that's the side you use. So you have sort of color critical, or just color general, and then if you want to set a general rough and ready white balance, that's the bit you use. I use this side because you get the best of both worlds, and I'll show you how I do it. Yeah, far away. We'll just take the shot and then we'll take the question. Anybody seen where I put? Oh, there it is, my camera. Okay, here we go. So I'll get a shot just like this, and let's just see if we can mix and match the aperture and the ambient a little bit. So that is my color checker passport shot, so I can then use that to color correct all of my images later on. 1 second, Chloe, I'm just going to get a ambient only shot just to work out the ambient exposure, and we'll see what we're going to get. That's pretty good. And I'm going to guess. Okay, if you can hold the little colour checker passport up. There we go. And then this shot is the same shot, but where I've changed my exposure to be more of a balanced exposure. Why did I do two versions of that? Because the second shot is mixed light. The first shot was pure flash. So they are different white balances. Okay, mixing ambient and flash is going to give you a subtly different white balance to just using flash on its own. The difference may be negligible, but it may make a difference. And it didn't take a second. Okay, there was a question.
Yeah, so Joe asked, what mode are you using? Is it spot, centre, weight, or matrix metering?
Oh, that is a brilliant question. Thank you very much. I'll take that away. Joe, that is the best question you could have asked. I'm using the ultimate, and I mean the very best, most sophisticated metering system that you'll ever come across. It's these right here. It's me, it's my eyes. I'm not using a metering system, I'm using what looks right is right metering system. Okay, so yeah, you can use a metering system. There's no reason why you couldn't manually look at your meter reading and say, okay, I want to underexpose the ambient by 1 stop, and then I'm going to fill in the flash and do all the flash meter stuff. Sometimes, if it looks right, it is right. Hope that helps. Oh, sorry. I should say as well, if you've got any questions for Chloe, what's it like to be a model? Stick them in the comments, because we're going to move Chloe around a little bit. Chloe, way over there. Absolutely. Just keep going. We may need to move these cameras around a little bit, because off she goes. Let's move that around. Okay, there she is. I've got to walk in front of that camera, hold on. Just coming through. Okay, we'll move. Ooh, that's really hard to get right. There we go. I think that's about right for that camera. And the last camera. So we've got one more setup to do on our little live stream. If you're watching the live, you have about 15 minutes left to pop your questions in. If you're watching the recording, brilliant, well done for making it this far. Thank you for watching Adorama TV, we really appreciate it. Okay, and how am I going to get my camera over there? This could be fun. Okay, so I'm going to grab my tripod. I think I'm going to need that because I've got a plan for the last shot.
I've got a question for Chloe.
You got a question for Chloe? Mm-hmm. No. Go on. Chloe, can you hear?
So, Antonio asked, how long have you been modelling?
Oh. Hi guys. I started modelling in college. It was a coincidence. I actually took photography myself and failed very badly. So modelling actually came about with that. I helped my other classmates with modelling for their photography, and it stuck. And it's probably been about 8 years, but most probably 5 professionally, I'd say.
Thank you.
Oh. Right, I'm coming. Any more questions? Because I'm running back with the microphone now. Okay, coming back. Woo. Oh. And they wonder why I've lost weight recently. It's all this running around our little farm. Okay, so Chloe is sat under a tree in what was going to be, imagine this scenario, the beautiful sunset, because the sun sets right behind Chloe. I mean, literally beautiful. Welcome to the UK. That's what happens when you're in the UK. Tomorrow it will be brilliant. Last night, perfect sunset.
It will be fine about 10 past 8.
Yeah, it will. It will. Yes, it will. So, I'm going to try and run my cables. I'm literally at the end of the tether. That's as far as I can drag it. It's half hanging off the floor. This is not a sensible way of doing things. Never mind. Okay, so let's just take a picture and see where we are. I'm going to go to Aperture Priority. Let's let the natural daylight do its thing. Let's focus up on Chloe. Here we go, Chloe. Okay, here's what I'm seeing. Yep, that's my view of the world. Okay, so I've got a wider angle lens, but it's actually a 12 to 40mm lens, so I can go in a little bit closer and do this shot as well. Okay, so zooms, much more useful. I wish it was actually that nice in reality. The weather is so grey. Are you okay, Chloe? Marvellous. So yeah, imagine that with a nice sunset, and we were going to use a reflector to bounce light in. It was all planned. So we get an okay shot. Let me just go and have a closer look at that one. Okay. Yeah, you know, it's fine. Even though she's got her back to the light, we're seeing perfectly fine flat lighting. It's just so flat. So let's see if we can make it a bit more interesting. We've got 7 minutes. I can do this in 7 minutes, no
Seth's
problem.
Here. Hi, Seth.
Seth's made it. Well, welcome along, Seth. Fantastic. So that's the ambient light. That's the natural light. To use my flash, where am I going to be? I'm going to be in manual mode. Okay, so manual mode is the flash mode I work in, and then I'm going to choose some settings. I think I'm going to go wide. I quite liked that wider shot, you know. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's go f2.8. Let's see, let's choose f4. Let's try f4. Let's see what we get.
Would you like a different model?
Oh, we got one coming in. Here he comes. Oh, camera shy cat.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute, I can do this. Let's get the viewers up. Here we go. How's that?
This is Jake, everyone.
Jake, over here. Jake. Woo! Jake. Jake. I mean, never work with animals. Yeah, that's Jake for you. Jake Cam. Yeah. Okay, where was I before we got distracted by the cat? Everybody's distracted by the cat now. Right, I was doing this, I remember. So I'm underexposing. That's about 2 stops underexposed. Yeah, that looks about, well, it looks dark. I've got something in the sky, that's okay, pretty good. I've got detail in the shadows. Chloe is clearly underexposed. Okay, that's fine. So that's good news. Now we can add in the light. So let's get a light. Okay. Which camera am I on? Am I on that camera? Okay, let's bring it in. So the light I'm using, just so you can see it, is the Flashpoint Xplor400. We've got the, I'm still using the same, I think it's about a 24-inch softbox. There's no direction to this one, there's no grid on it at all, there's no inner baffle either, that's worth saying, which is useful when you're on location and limited with power. I've got a Manfrotto folding stand, which are good for travel, and at the bottom, oh, it's really heavy, is a sandbag, because you always want to sandbag your light stands on location. Okay, really important tip. How am I going to do this? Oh yeah, here we go, I can see this. Here we go. Really important tip, if you're going to use a sandbag, make sure that your sandbag is free to move. If your sandbag is touching the floor, all you're doing is holding the floor down and you're not actually using it to hold your light stand down. So, oh, well done, Freya. Freya, give her credit, she is on the remote camera. Look at that. Okay, so yeah, a little sandbag that's free moving. We'll stop it falling over. Okay, Chloe, I'm going to stick a light here. Oh boy. Okay, so with that in place, I'm at 250th of a second, I'm at f4, I'm on ISO 200. I'm within my flash sync speed limit, and because I'm within my flash sync speed limit, I can use my flash meter on location. So we've done high speed sync flash, we've done sort of trial and error flash, and now we can use the flash meter if you can see, it's set ISO 200, 250th of a second, but it doesn't know what the F number is. So that's what we're going to go and find out. Okay, Chloe. This might go a bit crackly because I'm going to be at the edge of the audio range. Here we go. I'm going to pop this near your face. Chloe, I'm going to put this near your chin. Here we go. F3.2. That's very close. F3.2. 3.6. I'm coming back. Coming back. Okay. Oh.
So Nick said, do you recommend using an assistant?
Nick, are you volunteering? If so, do you also own a time machine? There we go. So yeah, I've got my flash to match. That's kind of how it works. Make your flash match your camera settings. And in theory, here we go, Chloe, quick test shot. Although the light has significantly changed, I think, since I did the first shot. Ah, there we are. Chloe is correctly exposed. There we go. Correct exposure on Chloe. The time it took me to explain it, I think we've lost a bit of the ambient effect, but I can fix that really easily by adjusting my shutter speed. And here's the lovely thing, shutter speed does not affect your flash exposure. Only your aperture and your ISO will affect your flash exposure. And that's better, isn't it? Look at that. Really good, I love that. That's really nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, so that's working beautifully. Okay, Chloe, we're gonna do a few shots like that. We have about 2 minutes on the clock. So here comes my modeling. This is what I say to models to make them work. Ready? Work it, Chloe. Awesome. Oh yeah. Brilliant. Fantastic. I'm really good at this. And it does pay to have a really good professional model who knows what they're doing, because I can concentrate on all of the technical stuff, including talking to you guys, and not have to worry about Chloe modeling. Fantastic. I can even move the light around a little bit. Doesn't have to stay there. As long as it stays the same distance away from Chloe, the exposure is the same. Okay, here we go. Let's have a little look. Now, is anybody spotting any potential problems with this picture? I don't know, let me know. If you can see a problem approaching, do let me know, because, you know, I'm you guys to get my back. Here we go, Chloe. Fantastic, loving it. Superb. We're going to do 2 or 3 more. And the last one coming up. Okay, look towards the light for me. Boom, got it. Okay, anybody notice any problems with these pictures?
Does the light have to be in the frame?
Yep. Any other problems?
Wayne said light too hot.
Oh well, that's a, yeah.
Feather the Light, that's Antonio.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay, Antonio, I got you.
David, the shadows are a little unnatural.
Can you still see any of that white area?
Shadow.
Just for Antonio, feathered the light. There we go, I feathered the light. I think I've made things worse. Okay, so I did that on purpose because there's an obvious problem with this, which is there is a massive softbox in the shot. Yes, you can argue the exposure. Hey, come on, it's live, you come and have a go. But that's pretty good, except the light is clearly in the way. Now, are you really good at cloning? Do you enjoy cloning? No, I don't think anybody would say yes to either of those two. So how am I going to fix it? I've got one more photograph to take for the rest of the shoot and then we're done. Here we go. You don't have to run, by the way. That's not a compulsory part of the shoot. Okay, Chloe, you can literally do anything you like. There you go. Boom. My flash has disappeared. It's gone. I no longer have a flash. And all I have to do is put the two images on top of each other in Photoshop. Just erase the one with the flash away and you'll reveal the one without the flash. It's called a clean plate. And if your flash is in the shot, it's really simple to do as long as you put your camera, this is really hard to point at, on a tripod, little dinky tripod down there. That's why I was using the tripod throughout that, because I knew that's what I would have to do. Don't move your camera, don't change your focal length, everything else is good. Wow, there we go. That was, I'm out of breath. So there we go. And of course, the really great thing is every single picture we took, none of them used any mains power. We were off grid throughout this entire session. Modern flashes, check out the Flashpoint range. They are really good. We've been using them for years. They do allow us to do shots that we couldn't have done just a few years back. Battery powered flashes, definitely a way to go. If you're a natural light photographer, hopefully I gave you something there as well too. Any other comments, Sam? We good?
There were loads of comments.
Oh, I always were. I always feel really bad.
We didn't get to everyone's questions, but it was quite difficult with such a big space to be running around in. But thank you to everyone who contributed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please click the like at the top. That would be fantastic. And we can do more and more of these then.
Hang on, here we go, look. Here we go. For once. There you are. There you go. That's what they're doing, bless them. They are stuck outside under an umbrella with a ton of kit. So we're off grid, but yeah, lots of wires at their end. Which camera am I on? That camera. There you go. Brilliant. So that brings us to the end of the live stream. I'd like to say a few thank yous. I'd like to thank Chloe, who is, there she is, right there.
You have a hot water bottle there.
Hot water bottle. Here it comes. Yay! One hot water bottle for Chloe, marvellous. I'd like to thank Sam and Freya for doing an awesome job on the Super Switcher and the comments, fantastic. Freya has to run because she is going to be live on Adorama XP on Twitch in
less than an hour.
57 minutes. Do you know what game you're playing? She does, but you're going to... Roller Coaster Tycoon. Oh, I love that. That's great. So if you want to go watch Frey live, listen to her, watch her, see her, play Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's great. Go check out the Adorama XP channel on Twitch in around about an hour. Excellent. So the most important thing, I'd like to thank you guys for watching us. Sorry, I've been distracted. There's a bird land right next to us.
We have robins. If you've heard a bird all through this, we've got robins that are nesting right next.
You've had them feeding out of your hand as well, which is just incredible. Anyway, that's another video. So thanks to Adorama for making this possible. Thank you for you guys for watching it. And we will see you again on the next stream in 4 weeks' time. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.